Yeah. Lovely four-wheel drift.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and it's quite fitting that I'm starting this video from behind the wheel on the highway here because we are taking this Kia EV6 GT on a holiday weekend road trip and doing a track event. And as many road trips often begin, there was a lot of chaos just trying to get the trip started, get the car packed up, and get out the door at a reasonable time. So I'm here with my lovely wife Alyssa and a whole full back cargo area of the EV6. And this video is to sort of put the lifestyle behind the car. We have a normal review that I'm shooting this with Chris, and we've got our usual sound test and everything like that. But being this kind of unique package here with the EV6 is the fact that it's a very sporty, very powerful, and very capable performance-oriented car, but also this very quiet, comfortable, and practically built compact-ish crossover here. I really wanted to give some perspective on what it would be like to own this car, use it as your primary mode of transportation, but yet still go out and do a track event or some sort of high-performance sort of driving. So this whole trip is going to constitute of about a 160-mile drive out to Alyssa's parents, and we're going to spend the night out there, and then the next morning go out, do a full track day with me, the Topher, and Topher drives, and then we're going to have to drive 150 miles home from there. The EPA mixed driving estimated range for the EV6 is about 220 miles or so. When we left the house, we left with a full charge of 220 miles. Done 42 miles now, down to about 180, 82% battery. So what we're going to have to do is we're actually going to drive out a ways, hit a DC fast charger, top this thing off, and then we're going to charge it up all the way up to the tippy top at Alyssa's parents' house. There's no sort of level 2 charger there or anything, so we're just going to be charging 110 and trickle charging it, if you will. And then there is a charger at the track. We're going out to Gingerman Raceway out in South Haven, Michigan, and we're going to be able to charge up a little bit there, run it all day, and then we're going to have to leave the track with just at least enough charge to be able to get back, get all our things from Alyssa's parents, get back to the level 3 charger in Portage, Michigan, and then we should be able to charge up enough and make it all the way home. So it's going to be a lot of how is this thing really going to work, and what are some of those things that normal reviews don't really tell you about a car. It's very easy for a magazine journalist or someone, even us admittedly, to spend time in a car like this in ideal conditions and simply tell you, yeah, it's super fast, super great to drive, and that's it, nice car. But what are some of the real world sort of annoyances that come with road tripping, doing real life, if you will, and then tracking an electric vehicle like this? Things like, for example, this drive would usually only take us 2 hours, but it's going to take us more like 2 hours and 45 minutes or so because we are going to have to charge it all the way up before getting out to the house. There's not a plethora of level 3 chargers near the racetrack that we can use to top this off. So already right there, that's a little bit of a lifestyle sort of change that's going to have to happen. But it'll be interesting to report back to you here in a little bit. Is that something that we find annoying, or are Alyssa and I able to utilize that time? Can we do some shopping near the level 3 charger? Can we kind of strategize and make use of that? Or is it simply an annoyance? And I'm just remembering that I forgot to bring a extension cable for charging this at your parents' house. So we might need to try to shuffle up the driveway a little bit and get really close to one of the plugs there. So again, already things you wouldn't have to consider that if you were driving a gasoline car out to the racetrack. But some of the things I do really like right off the bat of this EV6, we've had it around for a few days now, it is still pretty darn efficient, even with these Eagle F1 performance tires. We've been getting 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour cruising on the highway here at pretty decent speeds, you can see. And even though these seats are more aggressive in the GT model and they're also manually adjusted, I find them to be pretty comfortable. What do you think so far, Alyssa?
I would also agree they're pretty comfortable. The bolstering around the arms is really hard and really aggressive, so my arms kind of like sit here in a weird, awkward position.
That's a good point. When you're shorter like that, the arms rest a little differently. Me being taller, arms come down, there's a little bit less bolstering, but something to consider if you are a shorter individual. I also like that Kia still gives, at least in this model, I'd have to check the build configurator, but in this one we have the full suite of active safety systems, and Kia's works really well. The highway driving assist makes it so when you're set say we set our cruise control here, and we've got the steering assist going. You might be able to see the head-up display. It has augmented reality, so it's tracking the car there in front of me, and I can entirely take my hands off the steering wheel. This Equinox, of course, is going to merge in front of me, and the car is slowing down and taking this corner here without me having to put any steering input in. It's really nice to be able to be in a car like this and doing real life and having it work so well in the real world. So let's continue on and get this thing charged up, and then continue on with our holiday weekend. Just hit 100% at the EA charger. Honestly, didn't take as long as I was expecting. We rolled in here with 46% and only about 35 minutes to hit 100. It really only took 11 minutes to get to 80%. I love the Hyundai Kia cars for that. We were able to get a 350 kilowatt fast charger there, and we are ready to keep on going. Rolling out to the track here on Monday morning, and I had forgotten that Kia stopped including charge cables for their vehicles included with the car. So I pulled up to the in-laws last night at 89%, and I was expecting to plug the car in and have it trickle charge up to 100 to leave for the track, but went into the back of the EV6 GT here and no charger. That was disappointing for sure. Now, is that 11% really going to change the course of the day? Not necessarily, but considering the EV6 GT makes peak power above about 65% state of charge or so, that means that's probably about one less track session we're going to get at peak power. So I am disappointed by that because I'm losing about 5% to get here to the track as well. So yes, I could have considered the fact that I didn't have any sort of charger in the back of the vehicle and tried to procure one, but I don't exactly have portable level 2 chargers or even level 1 chargers chilling out with me in the car at home or anything like that. I've got my wall style charger that's mounted at my house, but I wouldn't want to undo all that just to take it out here to the track. In fact, it doesn't have a wall style outlet anyway. So yeah, short of buying something on Amazon, then there's actually no way to trickle charge your EV6 on level 1 if you're just taking a trip like this. So definitely something to keep in mind. And a lot of manufacturers are going that way. You no longer get a charger included with the Tesla. You got to pay extra for that, and I'm sure most of the brands you do actually have to pay extra, but keep in mind that you are going to have to pay extra for that here in the EV6 GT. Okay, we made it out here to the track with about 85% charge as predicted, and we had a few setbacks. These are the type of things you're going to experience trying to do track events with an electric vehicle. First of all, a nice little pink out of order sign on our primary charger right here. That was a bit concerning. Fortunately, Gingerman Raceway has 2 electric vehicle chargers and actually just installed a bunch of camper outlets. So that would make EV tracking much easier if you brought the proper adapter. However, we brought a Tesla 2 SAE charger, and there's a second charger up the hill. When I first plugged that in, it wasn't charging properly. The car recognized that the charger was plugged in, but no current was going into the vehicle. However, we walked back up there after a few minutes and it was charging, clicking right away at actually 11.5 kilowatts. So I was really happy with that charging speed. So we got the car charged up to 95% state of charge. Tire pressures are dropped down in these Eagle F1 EV tires, which admittedly I am a bit skeptical on. They're just Eagle F1, and then we have these electric drive ready indications on here, so that'll be interesting. The tire pressures dropped to 30 in the front and 33 in the rear. We're going to keep an eye on those, see how they heat up just after a few scouting laps here in the car. We've got the Topher in the passenger seat, and we're about to go out and see how this thing does. So we did speak with Kia's engineering team, and they told us to pretty much just send this. We're going to use GT mode, and we're going to go full traction control off, so let's do that now. Can still do full stability control off in Hyundai Kia products, and I always love that. Now, Chris, have you even driven this car yet?
I drove it to get something from CVS.
Okay.
That's it.
Away we go. We've got all our artificial noises off. No sort of way to view battery temperature or anything. Kia's engineers are pretty confident that regen shouldn't heat soak. And I do want to keep a little bit of regen on just so that we can try to maximize our range. But if we do start noticing the battery getting too hot, we're going to turn regen off and allow the friction brakes to handle all the braking duty. Let's get a little bit of airflow without using the air conditioner, just to keep Chris and I from getting too toasty in here, and our GoPro.
Don't toast the Topher.
No, can't have Topher toast. It's like the Teletubbies in there.
That's right.
Tubby toast. After being in the M4, the bolstering doesn't feel too fantastic in here.
I'm so much more comfortable.
Yeah, heads back, feel good.
Grip's pretty good.
Yeah. Ooh, rear end already starting to come out. That's fun. God, you have no sensation of how fast you're going. I almost might consider turning the fake noise on just so I can get an auditory idea of when I need to let off the throttle. Turn-in is better than I expected, actually. Okay. Thank you.
Use a lot of core muscles to do that.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit of lift off oversteer there.
It's soft, it's wallowy,
Yeah.
but it's grippy and fast. Probably do a moderate
Yeah.
change.
Okay.
Got a few more custom sounds here. Ah, it likes to hustle.
Yeah. And it's quick. We are accelerating here. About 124 on the back stretch, and I am in full ABS.
Impressive.
Oh, these tires are gonna. I'm less concerned about range and more concerned about tire at this point. Okay.
How the brakes feeling?
Pretty good so far. I'm actually pretty happy with the amount that the rear motor is doing here. It doesn't feel like a snooze fest. You can actually get some of this oversteer going, and
You can dance.
yeah, the steering's a bit vague. No big surprise there, and we're actually getting much worse energy efficiency than I expected as well. I thought we'd be doing at least over a mile per kilowatt hour, and we're doing 0.6, so that is something. Let's see if we can catch this WRX. Oh, he's cooling anyway.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
What tires are these? Goodyears?
Goodyear Eagle F1s with I think an EV spec.
Okay. Wow.
The other cool thing is the fact that so far this week I've had 2 mountain bikes in the back of this car at the same time. We've moved a bunch of roses and taken a 200-mile road trip. So the fact that you could do all that, come out here and actually kind of have a little fun, pretty neat.
It's so well balanced.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to kind of extend my apex here, get on the throttle. The chassis is communicative. I don't love the steering, but I do like the chassis. Let's get a more manly sound going here.
Sounds like a weird CVT.
Yeah, that's not very good. How about Cyber? Might be a good balance between the two. I'm gonna try a quarter lap or so just with regen off, just to feel how the difference would be, and then I'm gonna let it cool. We're getting 0.6 miles per kilowatt hour without that.
Yeah. Lovely. 4-wheel drift.
So with regen off, it's not, it does feel more like a driver's car. It's a little bit, it's not playing with it
How's the brake
itself as
pedal?
much. Let's see. You're gonna like this, Chris. Let's see, brake pedal coming into this turn. It's, there's sponginess up on top, because it's probably still doing some of that regen up top. Doesn't feel like a track car from the brake pedal. Who needs drift mode?
That's awesome.
We dropped 10%, so really not, what was it? This is our 3rd lap out.
And you're at 95%.
Yep.
Not too bad. About 3% per lap.
Yeah, and then it should charge up at about a lap per hour. Well, no, a lap per 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
So you could go out, you could do a 15-20 minute session, and then you could go charge for the next half hour or so, stretch and some of the drink, come back out. Yeah.
I'm impressed. This is fun.
It's more fun than the Model Y was out here.
Oh, for sure.
I'm impressed by the high speed acceleration of this car. A lot of EVs fall off above 80, 90 miles per hour, so this car keeps pulling. We saw 126, and this isn't a really long straight. I mean, I was seeing about 126 in that M Roadster I was just driving, so yeah, that's fun. All right, well, we're going to let the Topher take this out for a little bit. Oh yeah, get a little airflow going. What are our tire pressures up to? Okay, 36 and 40. I'm gonna drop a little bit of air out of there probably just to plant it down a little bit more.
I don't know.
No,
keep it drifty for me.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep it drifty for Chris. Okay, we'll follow up with you at the end of the day, see what our charge level is like and how we get home. Well, the EV6 nearly lasted the entire track day. After just a session or two, I realized it was not going to be the charge level that was the issue. It was actually the tires, and we did prove that true. I don't know if it's turned the right way here. There you go. If you can see in, we did take a pretty meaty chunk out of the tires right there. So that is definitely something to consider if you're going to go out and do some sort of track event, and you're going to have to drive your car home. Got to make sure it all stays in one piece. We should be okay to drive this back on the highway, but the charge level is actually totally not an issue. We're still at 53%, and we did get to do multiple sessions. I think if you went out to a classic track day where you only had 3 or 4 sessions, and they were only about 15-20 minutes long, you could have the car plugged in during that time, and it would do quite well. You'd be able to last the whole day, especially if you rolled in with nearly a full charge. So we're gonna head back now. We're going to pick up Alyssa and then head back, do a quick stop at that DC fast charger just to get a few minutes of charge in there, and then make it on home. Here it is, all wrapped up from our trip, beaten, covered with bugs, wore out tires, but charged up home. And I gotta say, the EV6 GT has been a fantastic weekend track day adventure sort of vehicle. I know it's really cliche these days to call something a lifestyle car, if you will, but the more and more time I've spent with this vehicle, I've just been so happy with how well it's done everything. Did mountain biking on Saturday, moving plants on Sunday, track day on Monday, and I drove it home and it was fantastic. We swung in last night and charged for about, I think it was about 10 minutes all in to get up to a necessary charge to get back home. What else was really important to me is that my wife was fully comfortable in the passenger seat. This thing rides surprisingly well for how capable it is as a vehicle in all sorts of different driving situations. So many manufacturers these days are making their sporty vehicles firm, and there's a lot of harshness over expansion joints, and the tires are loud, and the EV6 doesn't have any of that. It still has a compliant, comfortable ride, and yet is so much fun to drive around on track, charged up quickly at the track, quickly at the level 3 chargers, and is stylish. And I know I'm just spilling a bunch of praise on this car, but it really went well despite a few of those little hiccups. I would absolutely have this car, and at $63,000 as it sits, I think this is the new electric vehicle enthusiast choice. I really do. So thank you all so much for coming along for the ride. This was a fun little experiment, doing our first full EV track day road trip, and I think the EV6 GT did it with flying colors. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.